Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we're going to be covering text. More specifically, we're going to be doing text with layer styles. And that is a technique that you should get very comfortable with if you want to make more interesting text on whatever you're working with. As many of you know, I design book covers commercially. And I have one of my book covers up here on the screen. As you can see, the text has been given that chrome look, okay? And it's much more interesting than just the flat text that you would normally get. Now, if I turn off the effects that I've done, the layer styles, you can see on the word sixth on how terrible that looks. And that's what most people go with text. They don't ever take the time to get good and learn about the layer styles. So that's what we're going to do today. And you're not going to believe how easy it is. And going forward, you'll be making more and more interesting text effects with your thing. So, all right. All righty. So turn the effects on, and now we'll go ahead and start. All right, so new document. And we will, we'll just do a square. I'll make it nice and easy. 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels. And we're going to make the background black. And we create. Okay, so now we've got a square new document, and now we can go ahead and put some text on this. And so I'm going to come up to the text tool, and I'm going to type in, let's see, we'll use Rockwell Extra Bold, but you could use anything you like, Times New Roman, thick, bold. A font that's bold will work best for this effect. All right, so I will just type in the 6. That's a good thing. And now I can change the font size by going to the point and just using the scrubby sliders to do that. Okay. And I can size the text that way, or I could come down and do the drop down, but that's very limited. Or the other thing you can do is you can do free transform it to the size you want. But I love scrubby sliders. They're a part of me. All right, so I position that for our purposes. We're good. And as you can see, boring is all get up. It's just what everybody does, right? The most anybody goes is maybe they'll turn around and put a drop shadow on it if we're lucky. But layer styles lets you take it to new levels. Okay, so the first thing is, how do you get to layer styles? Well, it's really easy. You have your layer, okay, of the text, and all you need to excuse me, apologize for that. Just double click on the empty part of the layer and double click, and it opens up the layer style menu. Okay, so we have all these options now to work with this text, and we can make some really crazy, great, interesting designs. Okay, and so what I recommend you do, if you're not familiar with layer styles, I want you to get in here and I want you to play. You're not going to hurt anything, right? But experiment. You may come up with the winning award design. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make silver or chrome effect text like I had on my book cover. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make a gradient overlay. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to click on that layer. Now, I need to be on the gradient, and I want it to be a white. Okay, so just select white from the drop downs here. Okay, a white gradient, and then very important is I want it reflected. Okay, by default yours may be linear, but I need it to be reflected. Okay, all right. So now that we've done that, we're good on the angle. We're going to do 91 on the scale, 100%, And we're doing the classic, so that's good. Okay, and we hit OK. And it really doesn't look like it's much, but we're building on an effect. Okay, so we're like building layers of a cake. Okay. All right, so next thing. How do I get back to the effects? Just double click on the background. And now we're going to turn around and put in an inner glow. So I'm going to select inner glow. And now, inner glow, I am going to go to multiply 50%, noise at 0, and softer is good, edge is good, size will be about 70, and the quality, contour, everything looks good, 50 and 0. So basically the defaults are going to look just fine. But if you need to, just take these numbers down and you'll be able to do that. So that'll put a low inner glow. Okay, so now we can turn these on and off, and you see what happens to the text. Very faint, and it may not be showing in video very clearly, but trust me, the effect is quite strong. Okay, so now we have that. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is bevel and emboss. So back onto the layer styles, and I'm going to bring in bevel and emboss. Select that layer, and now I'm going to multiply. I'm going to, let's see here. I am going to inner bevel, chisel hard, 170 on the depth. We're going to go in the direction of up because we want our bevel to go up in direction. The size is going to be 43. We're going to do a soft at 0. Okay, the angle is going to be 120. So we can just move this over until you get to the thing, or you could just come in and type. Okay. And we need to go to global light, attitude. Attitude is going to be 30. Okay. And the contour, very important. Coming down and select where I'm pointing right now. You have a choice of different contours. Okay. I'm selecting this contour here. All right. And screen is good, 75. And multiply, 75 is good. And now we have Chrome raised text. And again, if you need to turn it on and off, you have the eyeball right next to the effects. You can just turn that off and you can see this is what we started with. And this is what we wound up with. Okay. Now, you can take these numbers that I just did right here and go create the exact same effect on your computer. Okay. But the purpose of it is I want you to get into layer styles, and I want you to get in and play with these things. See what they do, right? What do you say? Well, what is a drop shadow? That's pretty self-explanatory. But an outer glow, what did that do? Look, let's see what happens to it. I've turned that on and off. Oh, look, it does put a glow around it. And I want to turn around and say, well, I wonder what happens here if I spread it out or I decrease the size. Look at that. I'm making more interesting designs. Okay, so this is how we create interesting designs, things that stand out from the norm. And that's what you got to remember when you're working with Photoshop and that and text, and you want yours to stand out. Okay, if you don't like something, just turn it off. I undid it. No harm, no foul. The point is to get into these layer styles. We have strokes, we have contours, we have satins, we have color overlays, right? We have gradient fills. You can do all kinds of effects just by coming in and playing with them, okay? You could change text in so many ways. Here I'm putting texture on text, okay? I'm putting contours on it. All these things are available. You can even change the contour. You can say, I could turn around and put in winter or that type of text or that type of texture. I can do all kinds of things just by playing and experimenting. And again, if something you tried didn't work out, you just turn it off. No harm, no foul. So that's it. So that's how we go from this boring plain text, okay, which everybody uses, okay, and we turn it into something more interesting. And that's the whole purpose of it. So hopefully you found this useful. I encourage you, get in here, play with the layer styles, and you're not going to hurt anything. Like I said, if you make a mistake you don't like, just turn it off. Or just, start over. It's no harm. It's non-destructive. So, all right, guys. Till next week, you guys take care.